Hellcat.
Hello everybody, and today we're doing What If Deku had Charizard's Abilities Part 3. I might just finish the entire series in this video, because I was going to do 3 parts at least anyway. Because I haven't been active the last 2 or 3 days, because in Texas we are currently having snow and the power is randomly cutting out, and as you can see, it might cut out during the making of this video. So I just want to let y'all know if that happens, rip. Anyway. Okay, so on to the video. Deku, so this is right after the sports festival. Deku, during the 1 week period, Aizawa gave them to, train up for the sports festival and get prepared and all that. He was practicing his fireball techniques. He was trying to make them into different shapes. Like, he even tried making one, like, an extension of his arm. Like, a little blade. With, like, fire. You know, like a fire blade. So, Deku, eventually, on the last day, he was barely able to make a fiery green blade. And he's like, yes, finally. As it immediately disappears. Izuku's like, I'll have to get better at that. And Inko tells him to go to bed. So the next day, Izuku goes into class, and Aizawa's like, everybody on the bus, we're going to the sports festival. And eventually, when they get off the bus, Aizawa's like, well, everybody go in. Let's do this thing. And Izuku's like, this is it. This is my showcase. And Speed looks at him like, what a cocky little piece of crap. And Izuku looks at him like, what'd you say to me? And Bakugo's like, oh, you're approaching me. And Izuku then slaps him like, heck yeah, I am. And yeah, that happens. And eventually Aizawa breaks them up, and then they go into the sports festival and put on their uniforms, and Izuku still struggling with it. Yeah. Izuku, being the person who got the most points, naturally he will do the pledge. Izuku just tells them to all do their best, and yeah, and the crowd cheers for him. And Izuku smiles like, you know, I probably will win though. And then the crowd goes from, yeah, go Izuku, to, oh, boo. Izuku's like, I was just telling them the truth. And Speed's like, you did what I would have told him. An honest fact. And Izuku slaps him like, except for you, it'd be a lie. And yeah, they have a really very competitive rivalry. Anyway, on to the first event. Midnight. So 3, 2, 1, and she starts it. And Shoto Shomo, or whatever I called him. I'll just call him, Shomo. Shomo. I think that sounds right, Shomo. It's Todomomo, okay guys, it's Todomomo. Anyway, Izuku, immediately starts feeling really hot on his feet, like, wait, what is that? As he sees black fire on the ground, and he's like, that's what that is. And then he hears people screaming like, oh my gosh, that's hot. And they try and get on the walls, but they just fall. And, you know, eventually they're knocked unconscious from his extremely intense fire. And Shomo, I want to, okay guys, just to make it easier, I'll call him Shoto for plot convenience. Anyway, Izuku eventually gets past Shoto's fire as he's flying over it, and Izuku's flying very fast, and he's like, well, this will be an easy win, as he quickly flies over the robots, and he's like, so it looks like no one can catch up to me. As he sees Tetsu about to catch him. And Izuku's like, oh, right, the overdrive thing. And he then sees Paint flying on a Paint version of himself. And he's like, well, at least she's original. And that's when he sees out of the corner of his eyes Speed trying to catch up to him with his blue fireworks. And he then sees a spark of lightning come out of his hands. And he's like, oh, lightning. That's interesting. Speed has lightning. That's cool. Anyway, Izuku eventually just gets first. And after about 5 minutes of waiting, Speed gets second place. And Speed's like, how did you beat me, nerd? And Izuku's like, you're the nerd here, Speed. I'm the one who won. And Speed's like, whatever, Izuku. It's not that you could best me in 1v1 anyway. And Izuku's like, oh, we will see. We will see indeed. And, yeah. Izuku, well, actually, everybody else gets in the thing eventually. And we go to the second event, the cavalry battle. And Izuku's team will consist of, I'm just gonna stop putting quote-unquote fake names. And, yeah, Izuku, Paint, I still love that name, Hatsume, and I'll say Tetsu, aka Ida. Anyway, Izuku, when the game starts, Ida immediately makes them fly with his speed constantly propelling them up. And Izuku's like, so do we just sit here? And Tetsu's like, basically. And then he sees Speed shooting lightning bolts at him, and Izuku's like, he learns quick, as Izuku barely dodges the lightning bolt, and he's like, he's quick. Holy crap. And Izuku then turns his head back to Speed, only to be electrocuted. And it's really strong. Speed is extremely strong. Yeah. Anyway, Izuku then starts firing rapid fire fireballs at Speed, and Speed's just dodging them. And if it gets close to him, he just uses his fireworks to get out. And Izuku's like, somehow he got a second quirk. Okay. And Izuku then, Tetsu being also struck by the lightning, because lightning chains, he falls to the ground, and right as Izuku's about to hit the ground, which would make his team disqualified, he just flies, you know. And then he picks his entire team up. It's like, okay, guys, we got this. And then he sees Speed do his new massive attack. He calls it electric cage, as he sees a giant electric little cage around him, and Izuku's like, okay, you trapped us, now what? And Speed hops on the cage, and he's like, this is what it does, as Izuku and his entire team is constantly shocked, and they can't feel anything right now. They're just in too much pain. And then Speed goes through the cage, and he grabs the $1 million headband. 1 million point headband, and he uses his fireworks to get back to his team. And Izuku eventually recovering barely from the electrocution. He's like, we need to do this. As Tetsu tells him his engines are shotted. And Izuku's like, of course. And Paint's like, I can probably make clones of Tetsu. And Izuku's like, oh, that's a good idea. And then he sees tons of Tetsu clones, and then he sees a giant Speed, and it's not the Bakugo Speed. And if you guys know what I'm referring to, it's the Speed Jolteon. Sparkle, sparkle. From a Pokemon series I actually watched a good amount of time ago called Evolution Squads. You guys should go watch that. And yeah, he makes basically a giant Jolteon, and it electrocutes the crap out of Speed's team. And it's basically Speed versus Speed. And yeah, Izuku then tells all the Tetsus to go in for the headband, and right as Izuku's about to grab it, Shoto snags it from him, and Izuku's like, crap, as his swing at the headband misses. And Shoto then sends one massive fireball at Izuku's team, and Izuku uses I'll say air cutter. I mean I forgot what it's called, guys. I'm sorry. Air slash or something. Anyway, Izuku eventually of getting back to his team, he tells all the Tetsus to immediately go to Shoto, and he then sees the New Age Momo make a giant hexagonal prison, and it's like one giant shield for them, and nobody can break it. And Izuku's like, what if we go underground? And Paint's like, isn't that breaking the rules? Not if your clones do it. And all the Tetsus then immediately use their overdrive power, and they go into the ground. And one of them comes out with a headband, and Izuku's like, he got it. And he sees it's 400 points, and Izuku's like, crap, as he still takes it. And 4 more come out, but they're like 80 points, 4 points, 7 points, and like 6 points. And Izuku's like, come on, where's the million? And then he sees Shoto's team fly out of the hexagonal prison, and Izuku's like, okay, they're leaving, as he sees the giant Speed use Thunderbolt on them, and right as it's about to touch them, they see one of the other members, aka like a future generation of Kaminari, just completely absorb the thunder, and we'll just call him Charge. Smiley face. And Izuku is like, I forgot how strong all my classmates are. As Izuku then shoots a giant fireball at them, and yeah, they can't do anything to counter, and they just get hit by the fireball. And yeah, as they see all 4 of those people fall out of midair, they see the headband fly off of Shoto, and Shoto tries to grab it, but he misses, and he sees one of the participants using their quirk, and they're manipulating the air as like a rope, and they rope in the headband, and yeah, Izuku then tells Tetsu to chase them, and as time is about to run out, Tetsu uses his overdrive feature, and as 5 of the stronger teams all are about to grab the person's headband, Izuku feels a snag on his back, and he realizes that 400 point had been snagged, and he didn't notice it, but this was one of the other groups, let's say the Speed's group, and yeah, but he also feels another headband being put on him, and Paint's like, I got you, Izuku, and Izuku then realizes, okay, that's 400 points, and as he hears 3, 2, and everybody basically grabs the headband, and only one person comes out of it, and that person is Shinso's group. Well, what do I mean, Shinso? If you guys ever heard me say Aizawa, it's basically Shinzo, okay? as we're in the modern, a later generation, because we're still in the Spoon King era. Hashtag spoon. Anyway, Izuku then realizes, oh, wait. It's him. As he sees it's Shinso's kid, more so just adopted. And, yeah. What's their name? Oh, yeah, it's Eri. Yay. And, Eri, who grabbed it, is like, okay, I got this. As she puts it on her neck, and Midnight says 0. And yeah. And Izuku realizes, oh, we got 4th. And yeah. Izuku, going into the next, the final part of the sports festival, being the tournament part for the 1v1s, Izuku's first matchup was actually Eri herself. And Deku was told by somebody else, just don't get close. And Izuku's like, okay, I can just fireball. And Izuku starts, when the match starts, he uses flamethrower at Eri, but she just dodges it. And Izuku's like, okay. She has skills, clearly. As he shoots rapid-fire fireballs at her. And Eri, like Ultra Instinct, she just dodges all of them. And Izuku's like, I don't know many people who can do that. Especially a student. Not even Speed can do that. As he sends one giant Fury Cutter at her. And then he starts firing more fireballs, but slower. So the air doesn't, cancel it out. And Eri dodges the air, and then the fireballs suddenly speed up, and one hits her on the chest, and she gets knocked back onto the edge of the arena. And Eri's like, oh, you're pretty good at this, Izuku. But I'm better. As she rewinds herself to when she wasn't hurt. And Izuku's like, so she has a rewind quirk. As he tightens his knuckles like, this'll be interesting. As he goes into his mega form. And Izuku's like, the real battle begins here. As he lunges at Eri with his very sharp claws. As he tries to grab Eri, but Eri just keeps dodging. And she punches him in the chin. And Deku is like, she's weak, but why'd they not tell me to get in close? And as he notices this, he feels younger. He's like, oh, so I'm 13 now. As he's shorter, and he's only barely able to contain his Charizard form, and he's really close to being out of Mega. As Izuku's like, I have to end this quick. As he goes up in the air, and he's like, coalescence, as he fires a giant meteor shower of fireballs at Eri. And Eri's like, I don't know if I can dodge this. As she jumps onto one of the meteors, and she's basically doing it like hopscotch right now. And she's hopping onto one another. And Izuku's like, how is she dodging? As he sends one giant meteor hurling at Eri. And eventually, Eri gets hit by the meteor, and she's flying down to the earth. And Izuku is like, full power! As the meteor goes really fast, and when it hits the ground, there's a massive explosion. And when the dust settles, he sees Eri with her chest blown open, with a couple organs being able to be seen. But Eri's like, I give up, as she rewinds herself. And she's okay now. And Deku's like, what in the... How did you... And Eri's like, my quirk is rewind. I can rewind any injury to any time. Or just a person to any previous state. And Izuku's like, well, can you make me my age again? And Eri's like, gladly. as she makes him 17. And Izuku's like, as he reverts back to his Charizard form. And Izuku's like, you're the strongest fight I've had ever. You're even stronger than that villain. Well, that's a shocker. Oh, actually, no, that's a better picture. And Izuku eventually moves on to the next round, and his next fighter being Shoto. And when Midnight tells them to start, Shoto sends a massive black and red fireball at him, and Izuku just uses his glorious dodging techniques to just sidestep it. And Izuku's like, is that it? As he sees a torrent of massive fireballs being hurled at him, and he dodges most of them, but a couple hit him, and Izuku's a little battered by these attacks. And Izuku then flies up like, I've been doing a lot of big attacks recently. You'll be the next to fall. As he sends a massive shower of fire, and he calls it Star's Gaze, as it makes a star shape in fire as it descends onto the arena. And Shoto's like, I'll deal with that, as he sends a massive counterblast of, like, say, I don't know, like a Kamehameha in that type of shape, as it's a little of a beam struggle of fire, and eventually it makes one big explosion, and Izuku comes out of it hanging onto the arena barely, and yeah, he's literally on the edge with one of his legs just barely not touching as he's keeping it in the air. And Shoto is seen with his one of his feet out of the arena, but it looks like he's trying to hold on, but one of his legs is out. And Midnight then announces, Izuku Shimura is the winner. And Izuku's like, yes, I didn't even have to Mega Evolve that time. And that's when, after the next round, Midnight announces the final match is Speed Bakugo against Izuku Shimura. And when she counts 3, 2, 1, the match starts, and Speed immediately sends two streams of lightning hurling at him, and then massive barrages of blue fireworks, and Izuku just flies up, and he then notices all the attacks are tracking him, and Izuku's like, he's getting good at this, as he sends a massive flamethrower at the attacks. And, well, it does disrupt the fireworks. The lightning just curves around it, and he gets electrocuted by it. And he falls down to the ground, kind of like burnt as a crisp. And Izuku's like, dang, that hurt. As he then goes Mega, and he realizes, I won't lose to you, Speed. As Speed then goes up into the air like, this look recognizable to you? And Izuku's like, oh, don't you dare. As Speed makes, he picks up a rock, and he flies up into the air, and he throws the rock up to the air, and he makes one massive firework around it. It's really big, guys. And he then makes it surrounded in electrified energy, and he sends it hurling at Izuku, and Izuku's like, I can't hold that, as he sends a massive coalescence at it, but it's doing nothing to the blast, and Izuku's like, I can't dodge this either. As Izuku then says, I'll have to use my strongest attack, as he steps back, and starts to do a beam struggle with a massive flamethrower. As Izuku then, when he's being easily overpowered, cranks it up to like 120%. As Izuku's still being beat out a little, and Izuku's like, impossible. As the beam struggle beats him, and Izuku's like, I didn't know that I could be beaten. As he's sent hurling into the wall, and he loses to Speed. And Speed, when all the dust settles, he's like, yes, I beat you, Izuku. I am better. And yeah. So guys, that is where part 2 is leaving off. But we're going to go, what am I saying part 2? Part 3. That's part 3 ending off. And yeah, except I'm just gonna make part 3 the rest of the series, because yeah, I want to get the full series out. Yeah. Anyway, we continue this on, and when Izuku is making hero choices, he goes with a man named Spoon Person, and it's labeled anonymously, except one sec, guys. Okay, guys, and Izuku goes to that agency, and when he arrives, he sees it's actually Spoon King, and Spoon King's like, well, I'm happy you accepted the very suspicious letter. Kind of dumb of you. You seem to be the only one who accepted, and I didn't expect anything less of you, Izuku. As Izuku's like, you know me, and Spoon King's like, I really don't. Anyway, I'll just be training you on your quirk, like we have been. And Spoon King then sends 5 hurling divine spoons at him, and it's hurled at him, and he barely dodges the first one, and that's when all 4 of them hit him on the side, and this nearly shatters a rib, and Izuku's like, that hurt. That really hurt. And Spoon King then's like, well, it seemed you weren't as strong as I hoped, but we can make with this. As throughout the 7 days, they do, normal training. And on the last day, they're patrolling the city, and when they get onto a subway, they're talking and stuff, and that's when a massive creature goes through the subway part and hits Spoon King, and Spoon King's like, kid, go find out what you need to do. I'll hold this off. As Izuku goes out of the hole that the creature left and goes over to the burning city, and Spoon King eventually defeats the beast by getting a hand out of the creature's grasp and just atomizing it, making it the size of an atom, condensing it a lot. And yeah, Spoon King then teleports to his apprentice, quote unquote, and he's like, how are you doing? And Izuku is like, well, as he points to the leader of that organization they fought at the USJ. He's like, I can't even touch him. And that guy's name is... Okay, guys, let me think of a name. Galaxia. Random name, I know, but yeah, I just thought of it on the spot. And Izuku is like, well, Galaxia here is too strong for me, clearly. Even my mega coalescence can't stop him. And Spoon King's like, impressive, as he cracks his knuckles. This'll be a fight. As he goes into Mega Mewtwo Y. And Spoon King's like, I'll hold him off. Go do what you need to do. As he launches at Galaxia. And Galaxia immediately punches him into a building. And yeah, that fight is happening now. And Izuku watching is like, maybe one day I can be at that type of strength. As he flies over and sees Tetsu about to be stabbed by a certain somebody. It's basically a Stain 2.0. And Izuku just knees him into the wall, knocking said person out. And Tetsu's like, how did you do that, Izuku? That was supposed to be so much harder than you made it look. And Tetsu then realizes, oh right, I have a sword wound. As Izuku takes him to the hospital and puts him in there. And Izuku then flies over to Spoon King, who is bloodied and battered. He's like, oh, Izuku, you shouldn't be here. As Izuku's like, wait, you're in your X form. And Spoon King's like, yeah, I don't think I can beat this guy. As Galaxia, without a scratch on him, is like, stupid heroes. You should learn that villainy is always right. As he glides over to Izuku, and he's right in front of Izuku, and he sucker punches Izuku into a cement building. And Spoon King's like, Izuku! As Spoon King is then gut punched into the street, and Galaxia is like, I'll end you both with one attack. As he makes one giant star object, and he's like, this is the end of you all. As he launches it at Spoon King, and he's like, I'll end you first. As he then does like an invisible rope at Izuku, and he throws him at Spoon King, and Izuku, who's is like, Spoon King, can we do this? And the Spoon King is like, we can try. As Spoon King uses 3,500 divine perfection spoons and makes it into something we like to call the perfect spoon. No, just the spoon. And he's like, I will harness all the power I have. As he goes Limit Breaker form, aka Mewtwo Z is what I'll call it. And he's like, I can draw all my power into this one attack. As he launches his massive spoon at the attack, and Izuku's like, Coalescence, X form, as he sends all of his firepower as like a massive torrent of fire hits the blast, but the blast still seems to be barely overpowering both of their attacks. And then Shoto arrives, and he's like, I'll help you too, as he sends a massive blast of fire, the one that nearly that was in the beam struggle with Izuku. And Izuku then is like, thanks, Shoto, as Galaxia is like, dang it, I'll have to go more than 1%, as he uses 50% of his power into the attack. And the blast then gets super strong, and they're nearly overpowered. And that's when they see somebody jump in front of the attack, and then they see the attack bounce right back, and they hear the person yell, Destiny Bond, as the person disintegrates, but the attack instantly bounces back at Galaxia. And Galaxia is like, wait, what's happening? As he tries to hold the attack back, but he's put too much power into this attack, and others are pushing against it. And he's like, I don't think I can stop my own attack, as he goes 100%. And Spoon King's like, how is he that strong? And they're all astonished with his strength. And Galaxia is trying to push away his own attack, but with everyone pushing against it, Galaxia then realizes, I put too much into that. It's too strong now. As then they see the person who sent the creature there, and it's an alternate version of Izuku. And Izuku's like, you did good, Wobbuffet. I won't forget you. Yeah, we're putting multiverse theory into this. And that's when Izuku from our Garchomp What If suddenly comes out, and he uses Dig, and he cuts off Galaxia's feet with his very sharp claws, and Galaxia's like, okay, as he regrows his feet with regeneration, and all the Izukus use all their power into the blast, and Spoon King, well, yeah, he is an Izuku, and Shoto, and the blast immediately goes into Galaxia, and Galaxia, trying to absorb it, he explodes, and all the power is released into the air, making a massive energy fluctuation, and everyone's quirk gets supercharged with energy, and Izuku now realizes, okay, this can work, as Galaxia is defeated, and Spoon King then is like, good job, kids, as he then looks over to Izuku, is like, you can have the company, you can have the fame, but to everyone else, it might never be the same. As the Spoon King then drops to the ground, and Izuku's like, Spoon King? What? As he tries shaking him up, but Spoon King is then pronounced dead a couple hours later in the hospital. And Izuku and a lot of people are just crying, because that was a tragic loss for Hero Society. And the second hero, I'll say Mirako, because she's young. Yeah. Actually, yeah, I think I'll say Mirako here. And Mirako's like, I'll stand up to the plate, and I'll make you all believe in me. As your new #1 hero, I'll be your symbol of peace and justice. As everyone claps. And yeah. Anyway, next we have final exams. And after Izuku and his whole class does their studying test and their actual written test, Izuku and Speed are supposed to fight Mirako, the new #1 hero. And when the match starts, Izuku's like, watch out, Speed, she can come out of anywhere, and Speed's like, I know. And Izuku then powers up into Y form, like, she's close. And Speed is then launched into a building, and Mirako's like, that kid was weak, as Izuku punches her into a cement building, but he's not quick, as Izuku shoots a massive flamethrower at Mirako, and Mirako just jumps through the flame, and Izuku's like, I'm happy she thinks it was that easy, as he actually turns up the flame, and Mirako is then like, crap, that hurts, as she punches Izuku, but by the time it hits him, Izuku is still firing fire at her, and Mirako retracts herself from the fire, and her hand is burnt to a crisp, and it's like completely purple, and Mirako's like, that hurt, as her entire arm is like disheveled, and yeah, and Izuku is then like, we can do this, as he kicks her arm, and he hears a massive crack, and Izuku's like, crap, as he quickly puts Mirko in handcuffs, who is now unconscious, by the way. And yeah. And Shinzo then goes over the cons and is like, Izuku and Speed win. And everybody is shocked, like, I didn't expect the number one hero to be destroyed so easily. And yeah. And the summer training camp arc isn't very eventful, guys. It's without no leader. I'll call it the League of Stars, is League of Stars. Anyway, League of Stars is currently it's mayhem. All the generals are fighting for leader, and someone will eventually come up to the plate, but not for now. And the summer training camp is normal. And after the second hero thingamajig, what's it called? One sec, guys. Let me think about it. There is what's after Stain's thing? What is Stain's thing? The hero, let's just say it's the, hero recruitment thing. Hero recruitment. Oh, yeah, guys, we're just gonna say there's, no All for One. Because, All for One, it doesn't exist, remember? And we just defeated the leader, Galaxia. And, yeah, we'll just go to Overhaul arc. Yeah. And Izuku, who's walking with one of Spoon King's sidekicks, who was the strongest of Spoon King's sidekicks, who was apprenticing Izuku. And Izuku's like, so, are we just gonna be patrolling this entire week? And I'll call her Petroleum, is like, yeah, that's entirely what we'll be doing. And then they see a young boy come out of the darkness like, please save me. And he then grabs the kid, is like, what happened? And then he sees someone who looks like he's in his teens, except he's actually 20. And they're wearing a weird bird mask. And Izuku's like, wait, that's the Chiazai guy. Okay. And Izuku's like, what business do you have with this person? And Overhaul, aka, it's not the Overhaul you're thinking of, it's Overhaul's descendant, aka the new leader of the Yakuza, is like, yeah, well, he is my son after all. And Izuku's like, why is he asking for help? And Overhaul's like, well, it's because I beat him in a game. And Izuku's like, oh, okay. As he gives the kid to Overhaul, and is like, well, happy travels. As Spoon King's sidekick, then a few days later, they discover that that was actually the Yakuza group, and that was a stolen kid. And yeah. Anyway, the next day, they're raiding the building, and Izuku, after tons of flying around, eventually finds Overhaul. And right as Izuku grabs onto Overhaul's neck, and he's like, this is what you get for hurting so many lives. And Overhaul then explodes Izuku's left arm, actually no, right arm, and Izuku then screams, as like, ow! Dang it! As he sends a massive coalescence in his normal Charizard form, and this burns him to a bloody crisp. Overhaul is just gone, and Izuku then gets medical treatment the next day. Except now he has a mechanical arm, and yeah. Anyway, Izuku now yeah, we go to the school festival, and Izuku runs into La Brava, except she's an adult, and he detains her, and yeah, she goes to prison, and it's actually discovered that a Gentle Criminal and La Brava used to be a duo, except Gentle Criminal died, and yeah, that happened. Anyway, Izuku does the school festival, and yeah, that's where we'll be leaving off on part 3, guys. Expect a full series later tonight. And yeah, this is Call Me Rushed, signing off. Bye-bye.